right, so no words or anything, or should I talk? Should I not talk? Do I look like an idiot? Is my hair all right? Am I even in the shot?
You are.
I am, okay. This is what we've got. These are the feet for the Egglestons, right? Now, feet are different for every speaker company, but the M8 1¼ thread for these feet, so you screw them into the bottom, and this point is what causes them to decouple from the floor. But there are all kinds of threads depending on the size of the speaker. There's a whole lot of variables, so it's useful, it's useful to check the thread pattern, because I'm going to put still points under these, because I find like the Ultra SS's are probably what I would use for this. So we get the thread checker out and we check the thread pattern. All right, so M8-1.25, that is the thread that will go into the speaker. So I'm going to call still points. I'm going to have them send me the M8-125 to 1/4-20 adapters, and then I can put the still points feet underneath this and get even more performance out of this awesome speaker. But for now, I want to hear it. We're going to put the regular feet on, and we'll wait a couple days and then we'll upgrade. You're going to find the screw holes on the bottom. And so what you want to do is you want to get it off the floor as best you can. So these points, so when a speaker is directly against the floor, flat on the floor, the floor becomes part of the speaker and can take dynamics away from the speaker. They need to be able to move. So these feet decouple the cabinet from the floor and improve sound quality. So depending on the size of the speaker, you know, our biggest, most massive speakers could require a much bigger foot, and you know, smaller speakers, smaller feet. But what's amazing is, you know, you get something like still points. You put still points under here, and the bass gets better. It sounds more just better. You know, the sound stage comes in tighter. It's really neat what you can do, what even just feet on a speaker, how much of a difference it can make. Likewise, you can replace, you can put still points or synergistic or other things, feet or footers underneath even components, and improve their sound quality. So really cool part of, you know, hi-fi is all these little tweaks and things you can do to eke out every last bit of performance you can out of something like a speaker or a component. You can already have a great system and you can just make it fantastic with a couple of little tweaks. It's really fun. The big thing about the Eggleston Oso is this side firing woofer. And so there are times where you will put them facing each other. Now you run the risk of, you know, two subwoofers facing right at each other can cancel each other out. You actually lose bass. In this room, because it's a big, you know, we're in a big room here, and we're actually sitting these in the middle of the shop. So they're gonna be facing outwards, and we're gonna have to tune it a bit. You know, we're gonna put it there, see how it sounds, and we may move it a foot forward, a foot back, 6 inches to this way, toe it in a little bit, but we've got to dial in the speaker for the room. And then as soon as you change the amplifier, sometimes things change and you have to move the speaker again. And so part of all of this is the knowledge of how to set speakers up, how to set your components up for the room, for the situation. So we're going to move these over. We're going to hook them up to the Conrad Johnson here. So, you know, this is 62 watts and this is their ET6 preamp, and we're going to see how it does with these Egglestons. So keep watching and we'll be back in a minute. All right, so Now we've got to set up. The Eggleston Works Osos are set up here in our main front of house system. This is the system where you walk in the front door and this is what greets you. So Conrad Johnson's Classic 62 SE amplifier, that's 60 watts. Their ET6 preamp with the built-in phono stage, so that when we run the analog rig, we're connecting directly to it. On the digital side, we have the Hi-Fi Rose, and we've been listening to Dominique Fil-Ami. I hope that I pronounced that right. But we've got these speakers positioned pretty well, and now they've got a few hours on them. We're getting into the break-in. So, you know, I showed you guys how, you know, we go about positioning. You know, move them too far in, and her voice and the soundstage will push over to the right. Get it too far out, and obviously this side won't be as loud as that side. So one trick that I employ, and we didn't do it here, but it's a good thing to consider, is when you are trying to place your speakers in the room, unplug one of the speakers. Get this speaker positioned right to where it sounds right to your listening position, then unplug this one and plug that one in. So it's not always going to be exact. You're not going to have the same amount of toe in every time. Sometimes this might be toed in a little bit more, and that could be because of the dynamics of the room, and the other things you have in the room could affect. And so it's never going to be that perfect straight on or slightly toed in, equal on both sides. Be ready for one to be a little more toed in than the other. But let's give this a listen.
So the sound of the birds taking off scared you last night.